Satellite has blocked the sun. Now I ache cold like
This song's ultimately about a previous relationship, right? A kind of relationship that you felt got a bit stagnant and cold, so cold, in fact, that you felt like you couldn't grow within it
Exactly, yeah.
anymore. And of course, that would have been super painful for you. But what's interesting is how you can kind of look back at a seemingly bleak time and still be able to express quite healthily how important that bleak time was for you.
That's the whole point of the song, but the project. Because I was actually going to originally call the EP Man-Made Sunshine Bloom in the Snow or Rosebud, because it kind of encompassed my entire thing of like thawing out of my old self. But then I just obviously went for Mothers, went for Man-Made Sunshine. What's that from? That's from Hot Fuzz, isn't it? I definitely, it was definitely about, my ex at the time, and about how that relationship, even if we didn't mean it to be, was just completely cold, and us trying our hardest to survive in that, and you can't. That's kind of the whole point of the project, is me expressing and me being able to be reflective, and retrospection is a hell of a thing. And I think if I do have a superpower, or whether it's a negative thing, because it's obviously has caused some kind of OCD and some mental health states, is that I'm very reflective. And you know this about me. It's like I can overthink to the degree where it can cause a problem. But then when it's a beautiful thing, in terms of me trying to grow in my life and trying to aid myself, and obviously songwriting, it can be a really good thing. But yeah, I don't look back on that relationship or that time in my life with negativity. I think I literally thawed from it. Still trying to find my rosebud, my focal point, but it's definitely healthy to have that view on relationships. I think people, it's kind of like, what's the word? Kind of disregard them. I think every single one you have, whether it's a friend or family or a relationship with a partner, is so important in who you become. And you can reflect on that. And I know that the person that I was within that relationship isn't the person that I am now. And you just grow from it. You grow from what you've learned and what you didn't like about yourself and what you did like. And that's the healthy aspect of it for me.
After coming out of something like that and loving someone as intensely as you did love her, you obviously, didn't feel like you came out empty-handed, because you feel like you grew from it and you thawed from it.
Definitely, yeah.
And I just know that me and you aren't the sort of people that believe in Disney fairy tales, and we don't believe that, you have to be with someone to feel whole and to feel complete.
Definitely not. That's exactly it with this song. It's like, I thought it was about thawing from her, and it was so evident after I'd written it. Mm-hmm. Even if the chorus lyrics are like, after you've known how the winter's not over, I realised that after it was really me trying to thaw from who I was, and that's still a process, but it's, very much close.
We have this conversation every time we get together, man. The same conversation that my nan tries to have with me whenever I see her. The dreaded, how's the love life? But seriously, do you kind of feel like you're living on ground now where something could grow, or you're living on ground where you could grow something with someone else?
That's a good question. In a really good place with that, because this sounds corny as hell, but I've formed a relationship with myself, which I never had. I'd never had that. And I don't think a lot of people do. I think they take their broken pieces and then put it within someone else and expect them to piece them together or to fill them up if they're half empty. And for me, it was very obvious that I needed to put myself together, fill myself up, love, self-love. Oh my God, like that's a new concept to me, which sounds ridiculous. Because like, you know, like I've always been stupidly hard on myself. And I think, yeah, post that relationship, you have a lot of self-hate. And that was a really strong thing for me. It was like, that took a lot of therapy. And that can also be like post-trauma of growing up and stuff that happened in the past with family and stuff. You can gain self-hate because you don't know why you feel lonely or left out in the dark about certain things. And I had so much of that. And I guess through some self-awareness and obviously therapy. Therapy is the key for anyone. Yeah, self-love is everything. And that's what this song's really about. It's growing a rosebud again. And that rosebud, again, is my center point. And that center point was, yeah, it was my own love and my grounding of that. And it takes a long fucking time. Like, I'm 4 years post that. I didn't write the song till I got to Hackney, which was only like a year and a half, 2 years ago. So it took that time even to get to the point of recognizing the self-hate, which is crazy. But yeah, it just takes the time and it's still going and it's still a process, but it's a great one. I'd rather put my attention on my own love than to give it to someone else. So in answer to your question, yeah, I'm definitely open to it. But it's just more important to be an individual and be singularly strong, I think.
You shouldn't have to employ someone to make you feel happy.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. I love that. No, I definitely don't. Like, because no one can. Like, you've got to make yourself happy. You've got to be able to sit with yourself. And like you said it to me before, like we were at the pub, weren't we? And I said to you, Buster, I realised that like, I really externally get my love from my friends and other people, like, to tell me that I'm okay. And you were like, really, darling, you've only just realised that? Do you remember you said that to me? And I remember laughing, but you were like, mate, you've always been that way. And I didn't. That was actually a really eye-opening for me when you said that to me, because it was very funny the way you said it. But I was like, yeah, man, it's exactly correct. And I think only like the last sort of 6 months to a year, like probably with having some real mental health struggles, it made me realise that I do have to look after myself and be my own, focal point and point of strength and the core. Yeah, I think that answers the question.
Or clinging to my shivering soul. 'Cause after you know her, the winter's not over. And a rosebud don't bloom in the snow. No, a rosebud don't bloom in the snow. Snow, snow, snow.
So, Connor, for anyone who doesn't know, or, can't be bothered to watch it, Citizen Kane is an amazing classic film about this immensely rich and successful entrepreneur, right? But he finds himself deeply unhappy and basically spends all of his adult life searching for his rosebud, which he looks for in material possessions and his relationships with other people. And in the film, his rosebud is completely metaphorical.
Well,
right?
It's not actually. Yeah, sorry to correct you.
No,
so,
that's absolutely fine.
It's obviously it's a huge metaphor, but it was his sled that he grew up with his family and his mother. It's mainly focused on his mother. My song isn't about that, but for him, the rosebud was the name of his sled, and it always grounded him, that memory. So it is a metaphor, but it was actually a physical thing that he pinged back to. Obviously, mine's just taking that metaphor. I just thought it was really beautiful, and yeah, again, it was a strange connection after I had the lyric. I was like, oh, that's kind of a perfect double meaning for the song.
Do you like it?
No, I love it, and also I love a shout out to Dom in Nothing But Thieves in the band. He produced this track. It sounds ridiculous, and it's so nice being able to work with your brother that you've shared so many years with and that you love. And it sounds ridiculous, yeah, it's great.
Yeah, I mean, as he's such a big part of the Nothing But Thieves stuff, how important was his input and his opinion?
He was beautiful about it. He switched on, he put on a different hat. He said that to me early on before we even started on the song. He was like, I'm not gonna do this like we would Nothing But Thieves, where we're constantly collaborating and you're pulling in ideas both together. He said this is your vision and your eye and your mindset on it, and it's a different world. He was like, I just want to facilitate the best way I can. And we just discussed kind of like, with Rosebud, discussing the influences of it, and trying to modernize it. And like, he's like king modern, like he knows exactly all his way around plugins and the studio of how to modernize a song that's so kind of, if I think about the song, it's so piano based, and it's almost like, it's just like a ballad, you know what I mean, really. I think that's why I really wanted his stance on it, because he's so ultra modern, and everything he does with Nothing But Thieves, finding our new sound. It was really easy for him, and he, I think, loved doing it. But no, I love the track. And yeah, it's obviously super important that he loves it, otherwise he wouldn't have done it. That's the truth, actually. He doesn't work on stuff he doesn't want to do. And he loves me.
Who doesn't?
Me, years ago. But now I do. Yeah. Is that all the questions? So it's so nice to talk to my friend, because I can just be so open about it. It's very good.
Good stuff, man. Go watch Citizen Kane, everybody.